This is a real good story about Bronx and his dad, Ryan, real United Airlines customers.
We were returning home, and one of the flight attendants asked Bronx if he wanted to see the flight deck and meet Captain Andrew.
I got to sit in the driver's seat.
I grew up in an aviation family, and seeing Bronx kind of reminded me of myself when I was that age.
That's Andrew, a real United pilot.
These small interactions can shape a kid's future.
It felt like I was the captain.
Allowing my son to see the flight deck will stick with us forever.
That's how good leads the way.
Finding ways to be financially savvy is a smart move, and knowing you could be saving money for the things you really want, like that dream home or new ride, is a great feeling. That's why the State Farm Personal Price Plan can help you save when you choose to bundle home and auto. Bundling, just another way to save with the Personal Price Plan. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Kicking off hour two here, Money Moves, VSiN, the sports betting network, Sirius XM channel 158. I'm Stormy Buonantony alongside Jonathan Von Tobel. Got a great hour on deck. We're going to dive into what is the 5-game card in the NBA in just a little bit, but we've also got, of course, 3 games in the National Football League kicking off tomorrow, including the Vikings hosting the Lions 4:30 on Christmas Day. News coming down yesterday, J.J. McCarthy going to miss this one with a hairline fracture in his hand, suffered on that sack fumble 6 we saw this past Sunday. To help us talk it all over, really excited to have Ben Leber join us here on the Progressive Guest Line, former NFL linebacker turned analyst, host. You can catch him on KFAN, Twin Cities Live, and on the call for every Minnesota Vikings game as a field analyst, sideline reporter for the Vikings radio network. Welcome in, Ben. How are you today? Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. I'm doing just great. This is like perfect timing. I just was out with all the jackals out and about running some last-minute errands. And, man, I mean, I don't care what community you live in, but it is crazy town out there in the few hours that these stores are open. So I'm glad to be home. I'm glad to probably pour a drink here after I talk to you guys. But, yeah, life is good. How are you guys doing?
I mean, the important thing actually is we're doing great, by the way. Thank you, Ben. We appreciate it. What's the drink of choice?
Ooh, yeah.
Gosh, that's a great question. I'm normally kind of a gin tequila guy, so I will probably maybe just start with like a gin and tonic. But with the game tomorrow, it's going to be like a little afternoon drinky, and then that's about it. Nothing tonight.
Well,
very professional.
I mean, the transition is you might need it given what the quarterback situation is going to look like, right? So let's talk about what this might be. The last time we saw what this looked like without J.J. McCarthy, without Carson Wentz, it wasn't great. Is there any hope that this is going to be any better for Minnesota?
Well, after Max's last performance, I don't know if it can get any worse. So I think that we're pretty excited about what Brosmer is going to do tomorrow. And I know that you guys have probably heard a lot about him as a potential in this league. Look, they really like him, and we really like watching him play. But we love the way he processes. We like his quick delivery. We like all of that stuff. So hopefully, with the game plan that they had in place against the Lions in Detroit, if we can execute something similar to that, then I think we've got a great chance to go out there and get a win on Christmas Day. But, yeah, I mean, I think all Vikings fans, they need to take a shooter of something after another injury by McCarthy. It's just unfortunate this young man just can't stay healthy.
Yeah, like, how do you see this playing out for JJ when all's said and done? Because I feel like even when he's been on the field, it's been a little bit of a roller coaster. Obviously, he misses all of last season and in and out of the lineup this year. What is your guys' expectations as people that are close to the organization and fans about the future of the young quarterback?
It's crazy because his last few starts, I think everybody, they see what he can become. And I know there's been a little bit of leniency with the playbook. They've had to pare it down a little bit, which has been fine because he's playing faster. He's much more efficient. He's more productive. So I think everybody can kind of project what he may become in the next year and a half. The thing is, look, with all of these players, you have to be available. And I don't know if I really believe that some guys are just injury prone, but there are some guys. And look, we had a guy on our roster in Carson Wentz that just happened to be injury prone throughout his whole career. And is that something that you want to go into the offseason saying, like, nope, we're still going to put all of our eggs in this one basket. We're not going to go out and find any sort of high-level competition for him, a high-level backup, or even somebody to actually just come in and compete like they did with Sam Darnold. If they don't do that, then I think everybody's going to walk into next season with major, major question marks and kind of holding our breath. So I think when you add all that up, you put that into the equation of what the Vikings do. I do think that they are players for free agent quarterbacks, although there's not going to be a lot of them. I do think that they're going to bring somebody in to compete with McCarthy. And if he loses the starting job, he's going to be a viable backup. But a lot of question marks surrounding J.J. McCarthy now, just from a health status, if he's going to be the franchise quarterback of the Vikes.
So just a couple of minutes ago, Ben, we get the official ruling for some of these injuries. Jordan Mason is out. T.J. Hawkinson is out. We know that Ryan Kelly is out as well. So this is obviously, I think, a little bit more of an easier opponent when you talk about the level of competition on defense. What do you think the strategy is? What do you think the game plan is with all these injuries on offense for Minnesota against a Detroit team that's pretty average defensively?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, again, try to run the ball as much as you can with Aaron Jones. He's going to be the bell cow for sure. Xavier Scott can come in, and he's more of a pass-catching guy. If the people out there don't know a lot about him, he was actually a converted wide receiver at the University of Maine and has become more of a running back. So he does a great job of catching the ball in the backfield, and they can use him in a multitude of different ways. But as far as like running between the tackles and all that stuff, you got to rely on Aaron Jones a little bit more. But, he was banged up last game, too. I mean, it was actually a point in the game where he and Jordan Mason were in the blue tent together, both getting looked at. So Aaron took it upon himself. He's like, I got to will my way just to get back on this field. And so he sounds like he's going to be, probably less than 100% for this game. Brian O'Neill as well. He was dealing with a heel injury, I guess, and he had to gut through this last game. So he's on a short week as well. So if he's healthy, then, good. We're only down to left tackle and a center, but if he can't make it or he gets dinged up, we're going to be out 3 of our 5 starting guys. So I would say don't put Brosmer in a situation where you're constantly sitting back there trying to diagnose what's going on defensively with the pass rush that's coming at you with a makeshift offensive line. So again, the recipe for success is run the football with our banged up offensive line and take some heat off of Brosmer.
Ben Leber, 10-year NFL vet, now at the Vikings Radio Network, joining us here on the Progressive Guest Line, talking all things Christmas Day, Vikings, Lions. Let's go to the other side of the ball. Lions offense, we know, is certainly capable with the skill position players that they have, and Jared Goff at quarterback. Defensively, how do you think this matches up, especially considering even though Detroit's offense is as talented as they are, they haven't had the same production that they have in years past?
Yeah, I mean, you listen to Dan Campbell, and he's so disappointed by their performance against us in the first game. He's like, looking back on it, he's like, that was the worst game of the whole season, and they truly underperformed coming out of that bye week. And so I know that they're going to be extra excited, not only just for the playoff implications at hand, but they want to make sure that they're peaking at the right time, and they cannot afford to take a step back, even though they may win the game. Let's say, that would not be a great situation where you don't play well, you possibly still win. They want to be hit on all cylinders at this point in the season. So I think they're going to come out in kind of the same situation. They need to run the football much better. We have not stopped the run, I think, as consistently as you'd like. And especially after what the Giants did to us last week, yeah, we did a great job when it came to the pass game, but they still ran the ball pretty well on us. And I think they're going to turn that film on and say, like, all right, we have a better offensive line than they do. We can go out there and impose our will. So I think it's going to be both sides trying to run the football, probably a quick game. And we really, really confused Goff the first game with all the blitzes, all the disguises, all the drop eights. So I'm not really sure what B-Flow is going to do. I don't know if he's just going to light him up and just say, hey, man, like we're going to go man coverage and we're just going to like light you up as much as possible. Or because they're watching all this film, maybe he does play a little bit more coverage and really tries to make things cloudy for him. So that's the beauty of B-Flow's defense is you never know what's coming.
Yeah, Flores has done a really great job. Top 10 defense in a lot of different metrics, but specifically with that run defense you bring up, they are 18th in expected points added per rush by opponent. What do you think has gone wrong specifically? Do you think it's scheme? Do you think it's personnel? Why have they struggled in that facet?
Well, I think, we just don't have the girth up front. Jonathan Allen is a pretty physical player. I think he actually played a really good game this last game, maybe not statistically. But, Jalen Redmond's not a huge guy. He'll make some plays, but, consistently against the run, he's not really a run stuffer. And we got rid of Harrison Phillips, and at the beginning of the season, I do think that Javon Hargrave is just not the same type of player, especially the run plugger, that Harrison was. And then, Hargrave was out of this last game against the Giants as well with injury. So I just don't think that we have the big guys up front that we need to stop the run. We are built for third down. We are built to blitz and go vertical. We are not a two-gap style of a defense up front where we can handle two guys from some combo blocks and still make the play. We often get pushed out of the gaps. We get washed by the gaps, which make it really hard for the run fitters in the second level and the third level. So, I would just say, quite simply, we're not big enough or strong enough up front.
Ben, thank you so much for the insight today. We appreciate it, especially on Christmas Eve. Glad you got the shopping done, and have a great call tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Merry Christmas to you guys. Happy holidays. And now I have to go back to my in-laws. So if you guys want to just keep me around, you can. But I think you guys got to go.
You got this. We have faith in you. You got this.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Ben.
Ben Leber, everybody. He will be on the radio call once again tomorrow for the Vikings radio network on the game.
And we have to mention, of course, the best Twitter handle.
Yes.
Of all time.
Nacho Leber.
It's a good one.
Which, doesn't that just make you think, I ate some bugs, I ate some grass, I used my hand to wipe my tears.
Or whatever it is, yeah. Very good movie. We do have a little bit of breaking news. We're going to get to the Christmas card for the NBA, but pretty big news here as the Denver Nuggets have suffered another injury now. This one is at the small forward position. Cam Johnson has been diagnosed with a bone bruise in his right knee. He's expected to miss some time. So for those who haven't been keeping track, because it's been football season, Aaron Gordon hurt. Cam Johnson hurt now, and, of course, Christian Brown hurt. So this is going to be a thin group going at it against the Minnesota Timberwolves tomorrow. We'll have more on that coming up in a little bit.
Yes, we will hit on that. That's a great segue because we will be diving into the 5-game card tomorrow. 'Tis the season for more buckets. Stick around. We'll preview that game and all 5 on the slate coming up on tomorrow's Christmas Day. Don't go anywhere. More Money Moves after this.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools. But what they don't want you to know is that you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. VSiN Pro gives you access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Just tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
With everything that's going on tomorrow for Christmas, have no fear. VSiN programming is here. We got you covered all day long, starting with VSiN by the books, followed by a numbers game. Then we've got a special edition live bet Christmas to guide you through the action, hosted by yourself, along with Alex Fresh. In the afternoon and evening, we'll keep the insights coming. Follow the money, VSiN primetime, cashing out. So even if your routine shifts during the holidays, your betting coverage doesn't have to. The bowl season, NFL, NBA, everything. I also think I said Alex. I meant Andy.
You also said hosted by yourself. I think you meant yours truly.
What are you going to do?
Stormy's on tomorrow on Christmas. I'm not.
It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We're going to have a few fun. Yes, you will join us just like I did for Thanksgiving, although I'm sure you'll be much more put together than I was that day.
I've already made plans.
You already said you were going to join us. What do you mean?
No, I mean like plans for the hit. I've already got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you tell me? Is it a secret?
I just updated I have a digital background. I just updated my background.
Big time.
It's a Christmas themed background.
No, I'm looking forward. I'm curious. Obviously, we've got a lot that's going on tomorrow. So while you're driving to the in-laws' houses or whatever you're doing, flip us on Sirius XM channel 158. Maybe when you get home, if you just need to get away, throw the VSiN Watch app on the iPad, whatever it is. We've got you covered. We're going to have a little bit of fun, too, in addition to previewing all of the games. we will have the debate of what are the best Christmas movies in existence.
Please just don't. I'm sorry. I hate to do this. And
What?
Wyatt tried to do this earlier. If you bring up the stupid debate about Die Hard, I'm going to ask Steve Cohen to cancel the show.
Well, I don't know Andy Gresh, so I think this is going to depend on his vibe.
We as a society have to come up with a new bit.
Well, we as a society have to also just agree that it's not.
Okay, all right. You're not gonna get me on this. We do have some breaking news in the NFL before we get to the games later, or excuse me, tomorrow in the NBA. 'Tis the season to tank. It's on, folks. The Chiefs have placed cornerback Trent McDuffie, wide receiver Rashee Rice, wide receiver Tyquan Thornton, and cornerback Jalen Watson all on IR. So we saw earlier today Brock Bowers hit injured reserve as well for the Las Vegas Raiders, despite the fact that I think he played all but one snap last week against the Houston Texans. Good for the Raiders, finally kind of getting it right. I mean, this is it. If we're gonna lose, we better lose big. So quite a few guys hitting injured reserve for the Kansas City Chiefs. Obviously, a big one for the Raiders too. But as we look right now, and as I speak, the book that we're at went from 13.5 to 14, and I would expect that it is a flat 14, if almost across the board by the time we reach the end of the day. And kickoff tomorrow, who knows?
Yeah, that was exactly what I was going to say. I was like, we are at the 14 for Circa right now. Also, coming off our conversation last segment with Ben Leber, worth noting that seeing pretty steady one-way traffic in favor of the Detroit Lions in this spot as well. Never want to bring up the spread with a guy who's going to be on the call for the game, but a 7.5 point spread up from the 6.5 we were seeing this morning. And I agree with it. I think that the Lions are going to be a pretty good teaser leg this week as well. Thoughts?
Yeah, we'll talk about teasers and best bets coming up a little bit later, but I would expect that that's the case. Look, I don't think much of this Lions team. We talked about this last week where I had put that Lions teaser leg in against the Steelers, and as the week had gone on, and by the time we got to Sunday, even though I teased it down to 1, I told you, I don't even feel good about that, and they ended up losing that game outright. This, I think, is a little bit different. It would be shocking if this Lions team could not just pull off a victory here against the Minnesota Vikings. So we will see if that is the case. By the way, speaking of these games early in the week, quote, undetermined. That would be the status of Lamar Jackson if he's going to be able to play on Saturday night. That was from John Harbaugh.
All right, let's get into the NBA card. 5 games coming up tomorrow, and we mentioned it earlier, but because of all the injuries, especially at the quarterback position that we see in the NFL, the NBA has a real opportunity here to get back in front of everything. This used to be their day forever until the NFL tried to take it over. We have the rematch or the 3-match of the San Antonio Spurs and OKC Thunder, which is going to be a great one. And then you were talking last segment about the injuries going on with the Denver Nuggets as they host the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, so Cam Johnson, for those who weren't with us, the news came down just a couple of minutes ago. He will miss some extended time for the Denver Nuggets. So for those who haven't been keeping track, that's Christian Brown that's out. That's Aaron Gordon that's out. That's now Cam Johnson that's out. The wings are just kind of obliterated at this point right now for the Denver Nuggets. You kind of saw a little bit of that too, by the way, last night. We can hit that a bit in just Cooper Flagg went absolutely nuts yesterday against the Denver Nuggets. Really good performance for the kid who just turned 19, playing his first home game as a 19-year-old against the Nuggets last night. Scored 33 points, had 9 rebounds, 9 assists, hit his first 7 shots of the game. Stormy was absolutely incredible. And I think this kind of speaks to one of the weaknesses you're going to see for Denver as we move forward is just the inability to kind of cover some of these wings and power forwards. They just don't really have anybody left. So with that in mind, I mean, as you look at this matchup with Minnesota, I kind of think that you're looking at Minnesota dead in the eye and saying, if you can't get this done, come on now. I know he is great, Nikola Jokic. It's him, it's Jamal Murray, and it's the rest of this bench that they've got kind of trying to fill in the pieces here. And I just don't know if that's going to be the case, or good enough, I should say. So Minnesota, I think, becomes much more viable. The number's 3.5, total of 240.5. No real move since the news that Johnson came down. I think the expectation was he was dinged up already, but the fact that he's not going to be out there matchup-wise, this Minnesota team, barring anything popping up on the injury report, I think will be pretty live tomorrow against Denver to get this thing done. They're kind of just hanging around. Got a big win against Oklahoma City a couple of days ago. They're starting to show a little bit more consistency. I think there's some questions about what you're going to do at guard outside of Anthony Edwards, but I think this team's got enough up front that they're going to give Denver some real issues tomorrow night.
Any feel for the Thunder and Spurs matchup number 3?
Yeah.
OKC already down from 9.5 to 8.5 point favorites at DraftKings right now.
Hard not to be really excited for this. So the way that I wanted to attack this was kind of go into the first 2 games. So, like, what has gone wrong for Oklahoma City in the first 2 games of San Antonio? So, first and foremost, Thunder have not shot the ball well against the San Antonio Spurs for the most part in the totality of the 2 games. 20 of 66 from beyond the arc, 1 of 14 on corner 3-point attempts. Now, they're not a good corner 3-point shooting team in general. They're actually only shooting 35% from the corners this season, but still 1 of 14, 7%. That's abysmal. That should be better. 3-point shooting overall, one would assume that there's going to be some course correction. You know, for example, I kept bringing it up when we talked about this matchup the other day, yesterday, which was just, hey, you know, when they played in Las Vegas, they have this great tracking data for the NBA. On uncontested 3-point attempts against the Spurs, so defenders 6 feet or farther away, the Thunder went 7 of 24. That's 29%. You should shoot better than that on wide open attempts. So, in other words, if you just kind of assume some course correction here, you're probably getting a more competitive effort from Oklahoma City. You also have to look at this, too, from a couple of other different standpoints. San Antonio has done a great job of cutting off the rim in this series so far. For the season, the Thunder aren't a dominant rim team, but still, they take about 30% of their attempts within 4 feet of the basket. In 2 games, they've only taken 19% of their shots. So that's a really low percentage in comparison with what they've done for the rest of the regular season. The Spurs also, and I think this is one of the bigger ones, Stormy, is they're not putting them at the free throw line as often through these 2 games. Free throw for the season for the Thunder, they're making about 22.9 free throws every 100 shot attempts. In the 2 games, that's 17.3, so that's a little bit lower. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 9 total free throw attempts in the 2 games against San Antonio. For the season, he's averaging 9.2 per game. So if you can get to the free throw line a little bit more, if you can shoot the ball relatively well and better than what you have, I think you're probably making the case for the Thunder. The question is, will that happen? I'll also look at the number 2. I mean, look, this was 10.5 before the game yesterday. Mm-hmm. And now we're sitting at 8.5 in multiple spots. And I think that you're making the case that if there was a low point, it's probably here. I mean, OKC is the highest power-rated team in the NBA. This thing is kind of dwindling in terms of where it was. I think that this might be, look, 3rd time's a charm. Like, this might be it for OKC in terms of a low number here against San Antonio.
I don't really bet the NBA, but when I saw this go down to 8.5, I want to bet that.
Yeah, like if you're, what time is the game? Like, I think you're off by the time this game starts, but
11,
either way.
No, I'll be
she'll be on the air. It's actually pretty good.
11:30 a.m. Pacific.
It'll be a fun sweat, I think, you know, to check
I'm gonna
out.
do it.
And I think, I don't know what time I'm coming on with you guys, but it'll be cool to check in during this game because I think that this should be a fun kind of buy low opportunity for OKC potentially to get this thing done tomorrow.
How about the first game of the day, the Cavs and Knicks going head-to-head, Cleveland getting 6.5, total 239.5 right now. Cleveland fresh off just a dominating performance against the Pels yesterday.
Yeah, we got a report from Shams just a couple of minutes ago. Both Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson will be playing, so Brunson being available is pretty good. Didn't play yesterday. OG Anunoby didn't play either, so just keep an eye on the injury report here. But if this team's going to be at full strength, I think to me it would either be New York or a Knicks team total over. I think would be a good way to do it. Since Mobley's been out for Cleveland on December 12th, that was his last game, this team's really taken a big hit on defense. Last 2 weeks, they're 25th in non-garbage time defensive efficiency, giving up 120.7 points per 100 possessions. They win yesterday against Cleveland does, but that snapped an 0-6 ATS slide. If you look at their last 13 games, they're 3-10 against the number. For the season, Stormy, they're 9-22 against the spread. This has just been an overvalued team that has been really injured and beat up. And the Knicks, with giving Brunson some time off, you think about this, they've dropped 2 out of 3. They're 1-3 ATS in their last 4. The previous 11, they were 10-1 straight up. They were 9-2 against the spread. One of the best offenses in the NBA. I think the Knicks are pretty live here to put it on the Cavs, whether it's to cover the spread or maybe even go over their team total.
Okay, again, 6.5 is what that current number is. Total for the game, 239.5 out there at MSG. Should be a good one. One of 5 awesome games we have in the slate. We still have yet to hit on Mavs, Warriors, and Rockets, Lakers. We can do that on the other side of this break. We also have the 3 games in the NFL. We can give you kind of our full breakdown, higher level thoughts on those, especially since you're not going to be with us tomorrow during all of the action. So we're going to take a quick time out here. When we come back, we will hit on those. I know there is still one more award market that we didn't discuss earlier that we still need to dive into as well. So final half hour of the program, we are looking at a lot of stuff.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
As the official horse racing partner of VSiN, First Bet is built for bettors who demand more. First Bet, not just about placing a bet, it's about helping bettors of all levels with proprietary AI handicapping tools that provide data-driven insights to help you make smarter bets. First Bet's in-app tools give you win, place, and show probabilities for each runner so you can quickly and easily identify good value plays and improve your ROI. And right now, you can take advantage of their limited-time $250 sign-up offer. Claim your bonus. Use promo code VSiN250 when you sign up in the First Bet app or at firstbet.com. That's promo code VSiN250. Is that a good horse thing? I got an email for you.
Wow, you lost me with that one. Go
Hi,
on.
Stormy and JVT. I believe this is golf calling via Money Moves. You can email us, moneymoves@vsin.com.
Yeah.
Here's my top 5 list of Christmas movies for you guys to
okay.
consider. Hopefully you agree. 1, Office Christmas Party. I have not watched that.
I don't
know what that
think
is.
I know what
I'm
that
sorry.
is.
I don't know what that is. This one's great.
That's
2,
number 1, though? Hold on, I got to Google.
Number 2 is you Google it. Jingle.
Oh, that movie is good.
Yeah, is it?
Yes,
Okay.
that movie is good.
Number 2, both on our top 5, I believe. I think you had this in your top 10 for sure. Jingle All the Way.
Yep.
Top 5 or top 10 for you?
It was top 10.
Okay, for sure top 10.
It's number 6. It's just on the cusp.
For me, a top 5. Great Arnold's classic, as you put it here. Christmas with the Cranks, number 3. That's an underrated classic. That's actually pretty solid. The Santa Claus also made my top 5, so I would agree. And I don't think I've seen this one, but this was one that was on a list of Christmas movies I was looking for. Black Christmas, as he calls
Isn't that
it.
a scary movie?
Yeah, he called it a good thriller. So I got to look that
I
up.
can't have a scary
Yes, you
movie
can.
on my top
Now,
Christmas list. Come on.
I brought this up because I think the tired, is Die Hard a Christmas movie? I think that's stupid. My question was actually going to be, is The Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie? Because I think it is. I think it's more of a Christmas movie than a Halloween movie. Yes. Because at the end,
I think it's.
yeah.
I would say no. I think it's kind of both. I think
Sure.
you could play it at either.
I
I,
mean,
think
the
of it as
whole-
more of a Halloween movie. This
you can
is
start
Halloween.
to.
This
Yeah.
is Halloween.
Well, he also he sings about Christmas as well.
Yeah,
so
but it's gloomy and doomy.
No, it's not. The
and-
whole message is positive and bright.
and creepy and Tim Burton-y.
No, not at all.
I don't think anything Tim Burton can be festive
But
in
two,
a positive way.
2 Tim Allen movies making the top 5 for our friend here, and also sent us, I'm down with this, a 14-leg teaser.
Hell yeah. You are our people. What's his name?
Brother.
What's his name?
Rich in Canada.
Rich in Canada. We love you.
Yep. Love it.
What are the legs? You want to spit it out there real quick?
Let's see here really quickly. Let's see. Cowboys -1, Lions -1.5, over 30.5 in Broncos Chiefs, Texans +8, Ravens +9, Bengals -1, Jags -0.5 point, Patriots -7.5, Titans +8.5, Browns +9, Seahawks -1, Buccaneers +0.5 point, Giants +7, and over 38 in Eagles and Bills.
Hell yeah. You are our people.
Love it.
I'm all for it. Okay, let's get back to the NBA here real quickly. One of the games that we didn't get to, Warriors-Mavericks, coming up tomorrow, Christmas Day, playing in the Bay, and it's cool. Warriors hosting Klay Thompson and the Mavs at the Chase Center, all of the stuff. What stood out to you here?
I mean, what stood out to me is I don't think the gap between these two teams is this big, so I'm willing to kind of go down with the ship here with the Dallas Mavericks. I took 8.5 in this spot against the Warriors. And let's just start with, we'll address the elephant in the room, if you will. Cooper Flagg. Flagg's been playing some really good basketball for a while now, really starting to find his groove. If you go back over his last 11 games, Stormathan, 25.1 points, 6.4 rebounds.
You can't just slip that in there.
4.3 assists on 53% shooting. He's not shooting the ball particularly well from deep. He's shooting 27% from 3, but the size advantage that I think the Warriors are going to, or excuse me, the Mavericks have, and the disadvantage the Warriors are going to have going into a matchup like this, dealing with the front court of Cooper Flagg and Anthony Davis, I think there's a question as to how you handle defending a guy like Jimmy Butler or defending Steph Curry and who you're going to put on them to chase them around. But I think that goes the other way, too. And like I mentioned, man, you watch. I don't know how much you watched or if anything last night. Flagg is really starting to get it, dude. His handle is fantastic. He's moving well with the ball. They're letting him run the offense a little bit more. They started to do that at the beginning of the year, but some of those sets are actually working out pretty well. I think that if the Mavericks are full strength, with every indication is that they are, and they've been playing some pretty solid basketball now, kind of getting out of this early season funk. And I was talking with, chatting with our friend Zach Cohen, senior editor, host of Harvard Handicappers. We were texting a little bit about this last night, but this team, much like the Pelicans as well, I think the undercovered aspect of the rough starts to the season was the fact that they were really injured. And if you look now over the course of recent history, if you will, this is a team that right now is, I think, 6-3, 6-4 ATS in their last 10 games, really starting to figure it out. Just went toe-to-toe with Denver last night. I'll ask him to stay inside of 8.5.
Okay. What's the word for Luka Doncic and the Lakers coming up against the Rockets tomorrow?
He, according to Shams, just from a couple minutes ago, he will play.
Okay.
So, I mean, this is one there of the games we're going to see tomorrow. This is one I didn't really have like a strong feel for. Houston right now is a 2.5-point favorite. From when these opened up in the summer, September still summer, early fall, whatever. To 1.5 was the original spread in favor of the Lakers. Now we're up to 2.5 in favor of the Rockets. I think that makes a little bit more sense. The Rockets, from a power rating standpoint, of course, I think deserve to be upgraded here. And the Lakers, one of the things that I think we've mentioned in passing, and as football season winds down in both leagues, or both college and pro, we'll start to get to this more, I think, of the day-to-day minutia of the league and what we're talking about here, both in college and pro and basketball. But the Lakers defensively, I think, have taken a little bit of a slip here. And it's not like they were the greatest defensive team ever, but they have fallen all the way down to 25th in the National Basketball Association in defensive rating and non-garbage time, 118.8 points per 100 possessions. If you look at a smaller sample size, the last 5 games, the last 2 weeks, giving up 125.6 points per 100 possessions. It's just one where I think defensively you were kind of waiting for the shoe to fall, and eventually now it has. And you just can't continue, at least I think, to get into these back and forths, these clutch games, and continue to pull them out. And I think we're going to start to see the slippage here. I would lean very much toward the Houston Rockets, but Rockets are a team I haven't had a great feel for either. And so I'd sit back and watch this relatively like decent total and a short spread at 2.5. You may be able to find like something in game if you want to find a little bit of a better spot for one of these, especially early on, but not one that I really jumped on from an NBA standpoint tomorrow.
That game tipping off at 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern on ABC and ESPN. One of 5 games that are just going to be awesome tomorrow. I am curious to see what the broadcast ratings are going to be for the NBA compared to the NFL with all of the injuries and everything. The 3-game card, when Netflix bought those games, thought they had potential to be awesome, right? And then ends up being what we're going to get tomorrow. Cancel all the Patrick Mahomes promos that you had for Chiefs Broncos and thinking this was going to be a game where the division was in the balance, and the Chiefs are out of it right now, and they're 13.5, in some places 14-point underdogs. You already listed out some of the injuries that were coming through from Adam Schefter with Kansas City this week. They've placed Rashee Rice, Tyquan Thornton, and Trent McDuffie and Jalen Watson all on season-ending injured reserve. Mm-hmm. They're really calling it at this point. We already know about all the offensive line issues. They're on QB3 with Chris Oladokun getting the start in this spot after Gardner Minshew went down.
Sorry, I'm laughing because I was doing radio the other day and somebody butchered our boy Chris's last name.
Oh, what'd they say?
Oludokun.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Well, so I was...
Sounds like an evil transformer.
It's like people, when they do my last name, they try to, sound it out sometimes. And I get Buonantony or...
So I was proud of myself.
Buonantony.
Earlier today, I don't know why I had to, but I had to spell your last name. I couldn't remember why. And I think I spelled it correctly off the top of my head. Buonantony.
Nailed it.
There you go.
Well played, sir. I was laughing when you called me Stormathan earlier.
Stormathan, yeah.
That's the thing. When people have often asked me if Stormy is short for anything. Yeah. And I've never understood that. Does Stormy sound like it would be short for anything?
Samantha? I don't know.
Because I've said, Stormathy. Yeah. Or Stormelia was a good one.
I've hit you with a couple,
that I got in. But, Stormathan is a nice one. Of the 3 games that we have tomorrow, Dallas, Washington, Detroit, Minnesota, Denver, Kansas City, which of those 3 did you have a most firm opinion on?
I mean, I'll probably, because I need, you have to have some action here. I won't be the only one in America. And, in fact, I think that the bookmakers will probably be praying for an upset in one of these first 2 games.
Oh yeah, if you're willing to lay a number still, the parlay,
not even the money line parlays, all that. But again, famous last words. How does it lose? A Cowboys-Lions teaser. Everybody in the world will probably have that, right? You get the Cowboys down to 2.5. You get the Lions down to 1.5.
I wanted to do Lions Broncos.
Oh, you want to tease the Kansas City Chiefs up?
No.
Get them to 19.5.
No, I want to bring the Broncos down.
But I think that to me, like, that's probably the best way to put it. Like, again, I'm prone to playing, as you have kind of found out, if you're playing these teasers, I generally stick to the Wong principle teaser. So
I'm the one that goes rogue between the two of us.
Look, and there's no, again, people will you play it how you want. I like to play those, and I think a Dallas-Detroit teaser seems like a pretty strong one. Again, 50.5 the total for Dallas and Washington, so you generally want lower totals. Like, Detroit seems like a really strong one to get that down, but for sure, I think a Cowboys-Lions teaser seems like some fun to sweat out tomorrow. I
think I might add both.
Yeah.
Like, just have action in all three games.
Well, let me ask you.
Maybe even do the 3-leg.
You can ruminate on this, ponder about it for a little bit during the break, but I mean, instead of 13.5, I've thrown out the thought of, I was on with our friend the Golix. I mean, do you think about some of these alternate lines for Denver?
Yeah.
Like, is it really going to be that big of a bloodbath that you could sit there and ask Denver to just pound the Chiefs into the ground?
I mean, and they're, even knowing the Chiefs' shortcomings, like, Broncos are going to want to run it up if they have the opportunity to, so I could absolutely see that. Okay, we got to step aside. The show's gone by fast. We are wrapping up this Christmas Eve edition of Money Moves next, live on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, we are wrapping up this Christmas Eve edition of Money Moves live from downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. He's Jonathan Von Tobel. I'm Stormy Buonantony. Something we brought up a little bit earlier on the show was NFL Network insider Tom Pelissero did, and it's something he does every year, is an awards survey. He collects input from anonymous high-ranking execs around the National Football League. In this case, 21 of them were general managers, 9 more, full collection of 30 different voices, putting their votes on to who they thought were going to win the respective major awards this year in the National Football League. The big ones we already talked about: Matthew Stafford, leader in the clubhouse, as expected, for MVP, Jackson Smith and Jigba for Offensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett and Carson Schlesinger, absolute runaways for Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year. Offensive Rookie of the Year was another one that was very intriguing, and we've made the argument for some other players along the way here.
Yes.
What's that reaction?
This is exciting, and I don't want to be rude about this because I know people have money on all this kind of stuff, but I think, like, I think I'm guilty of this at times too. We do this all the time and we should stress, as you have already pointed out, these are not voters. This is a very small sample size of people that have been polled here. I would be shocked if this is vastly different from what people are expecting, but every year, and I think in every sport, a player makes a late push. I'll give another example because I give a lot. Trae Young and Luka Doncic's rookie seasons. Trae Young had a really slow start to the year. Luka Doncic was Luka Doncic. From, I think, end of January, Stormy, into the end of the year, Trae Young really started to get it. He was playing really well. And a lot of people are like, oh, watch out, Trae Young. And my whole thing was like, folks, it's Rookie of the Year. It's a late push, but he's not going to win it. Didn't even come close, okay? And we do this all the time. So let's throw this up because Rookie of the Year is a really interesting one. We have talked about Tyler Shuck and the fascination with him. As you see here, Tyler Shuck didn't even finish in second. My guy, Tyler Warren, ended up finishing second with 3 votes. Tetaroa McMillan, your guy, gets 17 of the votes here. But let's expand this out a little bit because, again, these are not voters. Let's hear from 2 potential voters here. This was on the Mina Kimes podcast. I think she posted this yesterday. It was her and Ben Solak. Listen to their reaction, or her reaction and his, when Tyler Shuck's Offensive Rookie of the Year candidacy is brought up.
I like the Saints here. I will say that I do think the Saints are getting overvalued in the market right now. Like, the whole, man, Tyler Shuck, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Dude, y'all got to watch the Tyler Shuck film.
No one's saying that.
The problem is I run in gambling circles where everybody's trying to find 5 billion to 1 odds. There are Tyler Shuck Rookie of the Year believers.
Okay.
No one is saying that.
Okay.
Yeah, the utter shock and the dismissal. No one is saying that. I think this, coupled with this poll, gives us an idea here that at this point right now, and earlier in the pod, I didn't pull this, but they both call Tetaroa McMillan the Offensive Rookie of the Year when they're previewing the Panthers game. I think we can kind of safely assume now at this point that Tetaroa McMillan is the Offensive Rookie of the Year. And the cool thing, I mean, for them, too, they actually brought up some good statistics about, where the Panthers are at in terms of expected points added per play, success rate on the plays in which Bryce Young targets Tetaroa McMillan. It's really high. So I think just all of this is kind of we've talked about this a lot, and we'll see again how this plays out. But the thing that I've been hitting on this whole these last 3 or 4 weeks, and you as well, these awards markets kind of are a guessing game.
Yeah.
That you don't really have any idea what any of these voters are truly thinking at this point right now. And for Offensive Rookie of the Year, since this poll has come out, since this morning, Tedero McMillan has shot up to minus 320 in multiple spots to win this thing. I think FanDuel had a higher price of over $4 at one point for him to win this. I think that makes some more sense. Shuck has dipped to about 6-1. And if we're taking that and look, folks, this is the other part about this. You can sit there and say, well, it's only two guys. That's only two people. This is a groupthink operation. They all talk to each other. They all vote kind of similar. There is not going to be, I believe, enough of a contingent of voters that don't think the way that those two voices that we just played think, and that this is going to be Tedero McMillan. Yeah, you see minus 280 right there. That's from a little bit ago. It's already been better. It's already been pushed out 40 cents. Since
this has become cycled more on social media, that number has been bet up. So just keep all of that in mind. Okay, last few minutes here. Let's recap the best bets from yesterday. Look forward to what we have added into the account.
I think you added Stafford at 150 to 1 to win Offensive Player of the Year, right?
No, I did not. Can't say that I did.
Come on.
But I am going to sweat out the plus 125. I think we did a good job at gauging the market when things flipped with Drake May. We do have that plus 125 on Matthew Stafford, hoping to get that home. As of yesterday, 3-1 on the plays for me. We lose the Frisco Bowl bet on UNLV minus 6.5 against Ohio.
Good hockey day.
Good hockey day, though. Yeah, 3-0. 2 moneyline dogs on the road. Both end up cashing for us. And then the Golden Knights absolutely blew out the Sharks. So I said I didn't like doing puck lines. I'd prefer to do the regulation bet and should have just laid the alts with what Vegas was able to do yesterday. No hockey for me today. What we did go ahead and add, however, was a couple of teasers in the NFL. And I'm tailing you on one of them. You brought it up already last segment, the Cowboys and Lions, pairing them together, bringing Dallas down underneath that field goal to 3.5, Lions down to 1.5, and then also doing the Lions and Broncos. I know it's an ugly number at 7.5. I even asked you, I was like, should I do a 6.5 point teaser to get it at the flat 7? But we think the Broncos are going to do work against the Kansas City Chiefs, so forget about it. Even though it's an awkward number at 7.5, I feel good about it. And then I've got a bad number on this Hawaii-Cal over for the Hawaii Bowl today, but even with the wind, I still expect we're going to get a lot of offense in this game. Both of these stud quarterbacks, Micah Alejado and Jaren Kiawe-Sangapulatelli, are playing in this game. That was kind of a fun story, by the way. Tosh Lupoi, since I was doing the Oregon JMU game this past week, we sat down with Tosh and all of the coaches, and he laid out the whole story about going to Hawaii in the middle of the night and doing whatever he could to make sure the JKS stayed long-term at Cal. And so I think he's going to try to do his best. And I mean, this offense is really functional and operates at a high level when guys catch the football for JKS. So we'll see if they're able to do that. But both of these offense should be able to score points. And I want to say Hawaii's averaging like 30 points per game at home this year. So let's get it.
Hey, if there's a set of quarterbacks in a single game that knows how to navigate the winds of Hawaii in a football contest, it's these two. And like we talked about before, I mean, we can go down the list of a long, storied history of bowl season in which the market's overreacted to weather reports and whatnot. So,
and this is not betting related, but just kind of a fun wrinkle story is like a reporter. You know, I like this kind of stuff. The fact that Nick Rolovich, who most people know as Washington State former head coach and all of the COVID stuff, he's also a former Hawaii head coach and former quarterback who coincidentally, when Timmy Chang got injured in 2001, Nick Rolovich replaced him, went 8-1 as a starter that year. And thus, because they did not have a bowl game available for them at 9-3 that season, created the Hawaii Bowl after that. So these two head coaches in this game are the reason this bowl game exists, which I just think is kind of fun.
Yep. All right, for me, let's see. We'll start NBA. Knicks team total over 122.5 minus 114. That's a play for tomorrow, of course. There's no game tonight, but for Christmas time against the Cavaliers. Mavericks plus 8.5. Against the Golden State Warriors as well. This Hawaii money line, this is one, like you said, we had these, we talked about these bowls at the beginning of bowl season. That was placed a while ago, plus 110. And then I went Stormy. I mean, I think there's obviously a lot of teasable lines here this week. So gave it a shot with 3 of them. Cowboys, Lions, 6-point teaser there. Cowboys minus 2.5, Lions minus 1.5. Lions minus 1.5, Texans plus 8. We haven't talked about that Saturday game. We will at length on Friday. I'm sorry, I know you sent it to me. I can't remember. Are you here on Friday?
I am, yes.
Okay, so we can talk about that at length because that Texans-Chargers game is going to be awesome. And then as well, as you can kind of get a feeling of what I'm feeling about that game, Texans plus 8, Titans plus 8.5. So teasing both of those dogs up there through some key numbers.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. By the way, quick reminder, you know that I need to be caffeinated all day, every day, but especially throughout the holiday season. The holidays are back at Starbucks, ladies and gentlemen. You need to share in the season with some of the most awesome drinks out there. The peppermint mocha made with Starbucks signature espresso, velvety mocha and cool peppermint notes, topped with whipped cream and dark chocolate curls. Together is the best place to be at Starbucks. And I would show you my cup right now, but it's already empty. So
well, guess what? No lie here. I got a peppermint mocha on my way here today. I was like, it's Christmas Eve. I'm off tomorrow. I'll treat myself a little bit. I went oat milk, no whip, and yeah, dude. Extra shot of espresso was.
I go oat milk, but extra whip. So that's you're missing out. It's the good stuff. It's the goods.
I want more. I want more liquid. You know.
Okay. All right. Do your thing.
Peppermint mocha is my favorite.
What you do is you get a smaller size, but then ask for extra whip so that it comes in the bigger cup. As a former barista, you should know these things.
I know about all these things. I can tell you lots of stuff. Really quickly, 49ers participation report for practice today. George Kittle did not practice, but Kyle Shanahan said there was a chance that he plays. So keep that in mind.
Also, we did hear from John Harbaugh on the podium as well, talking to reporters. Not a real update, not out there at practice for Lamar Jackson once again today. Obviously, he said if he can go, he will, but no firm answer on that
Last
yet.
45 seconds. Do you open presents tonight or tomorrow?
So my family, it's weird. My parents were divorced when I was a kid. So my mom's side of the family always did Christmas Eve, and then my dad did Christmas Day. My California family isn't coming out here, but my mom still does them on Christmas Eve. So we will be opening all of our presents tonight.
Okay. All right. There you go.
And then that's good because tomorrow, I won't have anything to worry about or do. I'm just going to hang out, watch the games after work, call it a day.
All right. Like it.
What about you?
Tomorrow.
You do it on the day, as you should. Yeah. But, I mean, you won't this year, though, right?
Tomorrow.
Well, don't you do it with your family?
Yeah,
and your
but
family's not here?
somebody gave me presents. I have them under my tree.
This freaking guy. Don't forget, though, special edition Live Bet Christmas tomorrow. Instead of us starting at 11 o'clock Pacific, we're starting at 10. So you get a full extra hour of the action.